Hello everyone, welcome to sqadia.com. This is Dr. Sana Khan with a general surgery course. Today we'll be talking about important biliary part, which is the choledocholithiasis. We have been talking about choledocholithiasis and some other pathological processes within the gallbladder, but today we'll be talking about the pathologies which are related to the common bile duct and specifically the choledocholithiasis. So let's have a look at the outline for today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we'll be talking about the formation of these stones within the gallbladder. We're going to talk about the formation of these stones in the common bile duct, and we'll be talking about the primary stones, which are formed in situ within the common bile duct, and we'll be talking about the secondary stones, and which are actually coming from the gallbladder. We'll be talking about their morphological and compositional differences between the primary and the secondary stones, and obviously their presentations. Then we'll be talking about the different causes for the choledocholithiasis. We'll be talking about the biliary stasis, infection, and the stones. And then we'll be talking about stones, stasis, and a biliary infection, which is actually either way. So we'll be talking in detail in today's lecture. We'll be talking about the clinical features, how actually the patient is going to present to you with a choledocholithiasis. We'll be talking about the cardinal signs. We'll be talking about cardinal symptoms. We'll be talking about the Charcot triad and why Charcot triad is important. Then we'll be talking about manifestation of cholangitis, and we'll be talking about the significance of the Courvoisier's law and what is a Courvoisier's tear sign. We'll be talking in detail in today's lecture. We'll be talking about the manifestation in the form of distended gallbladder. Then we'll be talking about management strategies, and we'll be talking about important investigations that are going to help you making a diagnosis of a choledocholithiasis. The clinical history, clinical examination, and the correlation with the biochemical profile and other modalities, how actually the blood CP and findings in the LFTs are actually going to help you. The bilirubin, direct, indirect gamma GT, that's going to make you help a diagnosis in case of obstructive jaundice. And then we'll be talking about radiology. We'll be talking about the role of ultrasonography, we'll be talking the role of CT scan, and we'll be talking about some specific investigation like MRCP and ERCP. We'll be talking about diagnostic and therapeutic role of ERCP, which is moreover, ERCP is used as a therapeutic tool instead of a diagnostic tool. We'll be talking in detail. Then we'll be talking about different integration of all these things for probable diagnosis and the treatment. We'll be talking about the clinical history related points with examination and biochemical and radiological investigations that are going to help you. Then we'll be talking about pharmacological treatment. We'll be talking about the role of a rehydration, giving clotting factors for like vitamin K. We'll be talking about the role of the broad spectrum antibiotics, and then we'll be talking about some interventional procedures for the effective drainage of the bile. We'll be talking about endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography, and then we'll be talking about endoscopic sphincterotomy, how this procedure is actually performed and how it's going to help you in the retrieval of the stones, and what kind of a GA is used for that, and what kind of a post procedure important things you have to do in endoscopic sphincterotomy. Then we'll be talking about percutaneous transhepatic cholangiography, and then we'll be talking about percutaneous transhepatic aspiration. So these are actually the drainage procedures, interventional gastroenterology drainage procedure for the effective drainage, and stenting can be one of the use for the retrieval of the stones. Then we'll be talking about main surgical part of the choledocholithiasis treatment, which is a choledochotomy. We'll be talking about the important techniques like laparoscopic choledochotomy and open choledochotomy, and then we'll be talking about retrograde cholecystectomy, and we'll be talking about fundus first cholecystectomy. We'll be talking about open choledochotomy via transhepatic route, transcystic route, and then we'll be talking about choledochotomy by giving a vertical incision in the common bile duct, which is called as a supraduodenal choledochotomy. Then we'll have a look of the indications for the choledochotomy will be discussed. We'll be talking about laparoscopic choledochotomy, some of the complications which are related to the laparoscopic choledochotomy and how can you actually avoid them. And then we'll be talking about open choledochotomies and some techniques which are used for the retrieval of these stones, and especially the residual stones which are being removed by the help of a Brandt's technique. That would be discussed in detail in today's lecture. We have got number of other lectures on our site, which is sqadia.com. You can go there, get access, and enjoy our lectures. For the detailed lecture, keep watching sqadia.com with Dr. Sanaka.